Friends, this is an election year. I know politicians, they come out and they have all kinds of platform promises that they make and all kinds of stuff like that. And that's all well and good. But what you really need to do, if you have the opportunity to speak directly to a person who's running for office, I'm talking about running for, because remember, this year we have congressional seats, some Senate seats, a lot of state legislative seats, even some local government seats, school board seats. All those people take an oath when they get sworn in office. Their oath is they're going to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. The insanity that we're seeing in this country right now is happening because these people are not following it. So if you can't get them to do anything else, you need to get them to promise they're going to uphold it. Not just promise they're going to uphold it. You need to ask them some questions and make sure that they really know what's in the Constitution. I am convinced that Trump has never read the Constitution, has no idea what it is, and just does whatever he wants. We need to stop that. We need to hold people to account. So you need to ask them questions. This goes for just regular citizens. This goes for journalists. This goes for editorial boards. They need to ask questions. First of all, ask any politicians running for office, what are you going to do to protect and defend the Constitution? You take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, which is the foundation for all the laws in this country. Find out what they are going to do. Then ask them, for their understanding of what the First Amendment includes. So the First Amendment, just so you know, guarantees us the right to, express our opinions, gives us freedom of religion, which means you can practice any religion you want to or practice no religion you want to. And the government should have no role in forcing religion down people's throats. You see in Texas now that they're trying to force them to put the 10 Commandments in the classrooms of public schools. It has nothing to do, unless you've taken some class on religious history, that should not be in the classroom, okay? Government should not, these charter schools, these religious schools that are getting taxpayer dollars, that is wrong, okay? The Constitution also gives freedom of press, freedom of expression, freedom to protest, and basically to petition government to address redress. So we're out there protesting and stuff like that. That is a constitutionally guaranteed right. Okay, so we need to find out, you need to ask them what their understanding. If they can't name those things, they can't say what things they're going to do to protect those things, then they don't deserve your vote. And they're frankly un-American, and they're unqualified to hold any office in this country. So we need to really demand these people, because if we were demanding these people for following the Constitution, most of the insanity that you see happening in Washington and the state capitals and even the city halls around here, where they're banning books and they're censuring people for expressing their opinions and stuff like that is unconstitutional. That's against fundamental American law. The Constitution of this country was drawn up in 1787 by the founders. It is still in force today. So that's why you need to be aware of what's in there. You need to ask these people, what are you going to do to protect the First Amendment? After you get past that question, they can answer that. Ask them what are their favorite amendments to the Constitution. I mean, some of them should be the right to due process, fair trial by your peers, the right to vote. Well, it shouldn't be discriminated against by virtue of your race or by sex and stuff like that. All that stuff is in the Constitution. We need to make sure these people understand what's in there. Get them on record saying it. Record. Take out your smartphone when you ask them a question and record them. I bet you any amount of money, most of them have no idea what's in the Constitution. So if they don't know what's in the Constitution, they're unqualified to hold any office. If they know what's in the Constitution, we may differ on certain issues and stuff like that, but the basic thing should be there. And the right to be able to dissent from what the ruling class is saying, that is a fundamental right. Trump likes to call you all kinds of nasty names if you don't agree with him. What I learned in college when I was studying for a degree in journalism is that the First Amendment is there to protect unpopular speech. If you want to say, I love President Trump, you don't need any protection to say that. But if you say, I think President Trump is an idiot and a racist, people jump all over, you have a right to say that. It's there to protect unpopular speech. You don't need any protection for popular speech. But we need to find out from these people if they know what's in the Constitution and what they're going to do to live up to their promise. Because they take an oath, they raise their right hand, they promise they're going to protect and defend the Constitution. And then they go out and they do something else. We need to hold them to that oath. We need to let them know, we know what they're supposed to be doing. If they're not doing those things, they don't know about those things, they need to be gone. They're not qualified. So remember, ask these people what they're going to do to protect and defend the Constitution. Ask them what their understanding is of what's in the First Amendment, and ask them what they're going to do to defend the First Amendment, and then ask them what are some of your other favorite rights that are in the Constitution. And remember, by the way, the things that are in the Constitution, those guaranteed rights apply not just to citizens, but to people who are not citizens, whether they're documented or undocumented. Everybody who's in the United States, prisoners in prison, they all have the constitutional rights. We need to make sure that they are upholding those constitutional rights.